Good day. I'm Fred Israels, and my website on YouTube, Old Stuff Show, is has about 160 plus different videos that I put together over the last couple of years, focused on many different topics such as antiques and collectibles and travel and many other things. So I like to always pick out a topic that's interesting and something worth thinking about. And I've been thinking recently about the whole concept of the word old in our language and how it has so many different connotations. So I'd like to just look at the old word in terms of things like antiques, people, events, and other things. And the connotation of old is both positive and negative. In some cases, it can be very positive. In others, it can be quite negative and have limitations. In the antique world, officially old is determined by things that are at least 100 years old, and this is how they determine what an antique is. And sometimes antiques are confused with collectibles. Collectibles can be simply something that's more current and that you're as a hobby, saving and looking for. But in the true antique sense, serious people are looking for things that are very old and at least 100 years old. So what makes antiques valuable? What makes it limited? One of the things that I think some of the things that make it valuable would be things like rarity, quality, market value, desirability overall, and in terms of kinds of things that people collect, it's just about everything. But it's very generational. So at one point, something like, for example, Royal Doltons were very collectible by a certain type of generation. A generation later, they weren't interested in that at all. They were more interested in things that were connected with their own maybe childhood or whatever. So you could put a Royal Doulton next to a Star Wars, and in one generation they would prefer the Star Wars figure, and another earlier generation they would prefer the Royal Doulton. But it does change, and so it comes and it goes, and that's the interesting part of antiques. I think that the antique world has changed so much that it's kind of a dying thing now, and antique shops are closing, and the generation that collected serious expensive items are kind of now have quit, or they've passed on, and the family that succeeds with the stuff has got rid of it. They're not interested in it. But antiques, in terms of the word old, has been very interesting and has played an important role in hobbies of people over the years. Not so much today, I think. If we turn to the idea of people, old people, the average age of elderly people in Canada is 81.7 years. And in 2025, there were actually, I think it was about 12,000 people that reached the age of 100. And this is probably increasing as medical facilities and medical treatments have been discovered and improved. But old, I used to think of old, a good definition would be someone that's 15 years older than you probably seemed a little old to you. So that's a pretty good definition if you think about it. So, the other aspect of old is that after you reach 40 or 50 or so on, it seems to go pick up speed and goes very quickly. And that expression about we get too old, too fast, too smart, too late has a real meaning. There are things that you can do to, in terms of the anti-aging and control old. I have put together a video that is, it's worth having a look. It's on a YouTube channel under Old Stuff Show, and just look up the title old anti-aging, control what you can control. And there's a lot of truth to that. So there are things you can control in getting older. Things like exercise and diet and socialization, and just keeping active. So what you can't control is disease, but there's an element that you can control what you can control, and you should have a look at that video. It's quite, I think, quite interesting. Old in terms of events. Hard to believe how quickly things have changed, especially technologically. Like, there was only around 60 some years between Wright's first airplane flight, and man on the moon. That time goes by very quickly. And there are generations that old people that went through a time when there was no cars, no airplanes, no electricity. Life was very different. And then there's a generation that had all that and discovered how significant it was to their lifestyle. And then as we get into more modern times, technology seems to have raced along very, very quickly, whereas today we're talking about AI. And so technology has really, really taken over a lot of our lives, and getting old, society getting old in terms of technology happens almost instantly every day. So the word old is so complicated. It doesn't fit just one definition. It's very, very complicated, and it's something that if you think about it, it's kind of fun to think about the word in the context of all those other topic areas. So you might want to just think about your own situation and think about how old applies to you in terms of your hobbies, or in terms of your lifestyle, or in terms of your friends, the events you've gone through, the technology you've gone through. It's quite fascinating. There aren't too many words in our language that have such a broad connotation and personal impact. So I just raised that on this video just to let you think about it and give it some consideration, and hopefully you'll take a look at that video, and maybe you'll have an impact in terms of old in your life. So thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.